Kelly from Moonbeam Gems Tarot, and I am back with another weekend element rune spread for you. Okay, so just as a recap from, I believe, my last videos that I've been putting out, I am dealing with this COVID-19 virus just like you are, everyone. So bear with me with these videos coming out. This one I've tried to record it a good couple days in advance so that it is ready to go. I do work full-time now, so before I used to work part-time, and then I would work from home doing obviously my YouTube channel, but also making my own jewelry. So there's some of the bracelets that I've made or that I make. You can follow me on Instagram and you'll kind of get an overview as to some of the work that I've done. And also, if you want daily tarot readings, I do try to do them in the morning. So do follow me on Instagram for that, okay? So as always, I am an intuitive reader, okay? My messages are timeless and they're not date specific. So this rune weekend spread for elements may possibly happen for you this weekend, or it could have already happened, or it may happen in the future. So do keep that in mind, okay? I do read from the book, but I also get some extra channeling that'll kind of that happens when I do the runes. Again, it's not for everyone, okay? So I take what messages work for you and leave the rest, okay? If anyone wants to timestamp, they are welcome to. I will not, so do keep that in mind when you are watching this video. It may or may not be timestamped for you, okay? So I am going to do it by elements as I did the last one, same thing. However, that may change in the future, so depending on feedback. Haven't gotten any feedback about doing it for zodiac signs, but again, I am open to any feedback. So do let me know in the comments below what I should do for my next video, okay? So without further ado, I'm going to start. I think I'm going to start with the earth element. Okay, so I do a 3 rune spread. It is the overview, your challenge, and your course of action. Okay, those are the 3 runes that I will be pulling, okay, for you. I believe what I'll do is maybe I will kind of go over the last spread for you guys. So I believe I did I start with earth? I think I did start with earth. Yeah, I did start with earth last time. So the last time for earth, for your overview, you got the harvest rune, okay? And then for your challenge, you got the, I believe it was the flow, but in reverse. So that was your challenge, is kind of going with the flow there. Action, your course of action that you need to take was disruption, okay? So that was the 3 runes that kind of came out for you on the last video, okay? So I do try to take notes, and that way I can kind of give you an overview as to the last spread. All right, so let's get into it. Hey, Divine Mother, Divine Father, Spirit Guides, and Ancestors, please allow me to connect with collective of earth elements for this weekend rune spread. Ooh, look at that. So we got, for your overview, okay, for your overview, we have defense. Okay, So there's your rune. Okay, let's see. Let's see what we got here. And this is, again, upright or reverse, it's the same. Okay, so it's he was, defense, avertive powers. Okay, as we are tested, we fund the power to avert blockage and defeat. At the same time, we develop in ourselves an aversion to the conduct and that it creates stress in our lives. If there appears to be an obstacle in your path, consider that even a delay may prove beneficial. Do not be overly eager to press forward, for this is not a time or situation in which you can make your influence felt. Patience is a counsel that Ethwas offers. Nothing hectic, no acting needed, or lusting after a desired outcome. This rune speaks to the difficulties that can arise in the beginning of a new life. Often it announces a time of waiting, for spring to fill up with water, for fruit to ripen on the burrow. Perseverance and foresight is called for here. The ability to foresee consequences before you act is a mark of the profound person. Avert anticipated difficulties through right action. This rune is saying, and yet even more than we are doers, we are deciders. Once the decision is clear, the doing becomes effortless, for then the universe supports and empowers our action. Receiving Ethwas, you are put on notice that through inconvenience and discomfort, growth is promoted. This may well be a trying time. Certainly, it's a meaningful one. So set your house in order, tend to business, be clear, and wait on the will of heaven. This actually makes sense considering what's kind of going on in the world with this COVID-19 virus. I think most of us are trying to do this social distancing for the most part. I mean, it can prove difficult, especially if you're having to go into work each day. I know I myself, again, went from working part-time to now working full-time because I do provide an essential service, right? People need groceries. So I went from being not so busy to like working in a flower shop to now being super busy working for PC Express, which is like an online grocery pickup and delivery service. Okay, so we're looking at like more than, I would say, holy cow, I would say like it's like more than 8 times the amount of deliveries that we're dealing with now, rather, than before. So I being myself being an earth element, I am definitely, this definitely resonates with me, okay, for my overview of kind of what's going on. So let's see what our challenges are, okay? Challenges for earth element for this weekend's rune spread, okay? For the weekend of March 27th to the 29th. Let's see. Ooh, which is interesting. I literally had it open to that page. Wow. Okay, but it's in the reverse. Okay, so for our action, or no, sorry, challenge. Okay. It's in the reverse for you guys. So we have protection. Kind of looking for my pen. Okay. Okay, so we have protection, but in the reverse. So what it's asking you for, or what it's saying in regards to your challenge, is Be thoughtful about your health and do not add to the burdens others are carrying. Look carefully at the associations you form at this time. If you see fit to become involved with people who are using you, remain cautious of the fact that and take responsibility for your own position. Then you can only benefit. And yet, regardless of whether your enterprise prospers or suffers, do not be overly concerned. You may not win, but you will never lose. For you can always learn from what takes place. Temperance and courtesy are the signs of this rune's protective powers. So, that being said, if you are kind of like me at the moment, where you're having to work during this, I guess they're calling it a pandemic, then just be aware that, if you are overworked, underpaid, and getting, you're tired, you're exhausted, that's you being used, okay? You have the right to say, wait a second, I need a break. Like, I understand that, there are people out there that need your help. And I mean, I totally get that, because that's why I've decided to continue to work. Many people in my position or at my workplace have made the decision to kind of go on a sick leave, right? I have made the decision to take my child to my in-laws and have them, have her stay there because me and my husband have to work. We both provide essential services, and it's been insane. Before, when I was working, it would, after 2 hours of work, okay, it's time for a break. Now it's like 4 or 5 hours, I finally take my first, I finally get a lunch or a break. And I'm still working for an additional, 4 or 5 hours on top of that afterwards. So I'm only taking maybe a half an hour to myself, if that. And sometimes it's just to quickly eat something and then get right back to it, right? Because we're bombarded. So it's just really what this rune is kind of saying is that you could be finding it really difficult right now to adapt to what's happening, right? But really, it's just knowing that, you feed into all of this, okay, with your mindset. So if you are in a negative mind space, that's kind of how it's going to affect you, okay? So it's trying to make the best of a situation. It's hard. Yes, play safe, be safe for the most, as much as you can. I use gloves at work. I am constantly sanitizing. Even before this, I was a bit of a, being a Virgo myself, I was a bit of a germaphobe and clean freak in terms of my own cleanliness and just making sure that, my hands are constantly washed, right? And now it's embedded in my head that I'm I will even sanitize my gloves. Even after I've sanitized my hands, I've washed my hands, I use sanitizer, I put on gloves, and then I sanitize again. I don't take chances, right? I'm bringing these things home with me. So for me, that's kind of been my challenge, is to kind of put a positive spin on it and take care of myself, right? All right, so let's get into what your course of action in Earth. Okay, what's the course of action for the Earth element for this rune weekend spread for the weekend of March 27th to the 29th? All right, so we have growth. And it's in the reverse, I believe. Yep. It's in the reverse. Of course it is, Why wouldn't it be? So, events, or more likely aspects of character, interfere with the growth of new life. You may feel dismay at failing to take right action, but rather than dismay, what is called for here is diligence. Examine what has occurred, your role in it, your needs, the needs of other people. Are you placing your wants before the needs of others? Strip away until you can identify the obstacles to growth in this situation. Then, penetrating gently, imitate the wind. You may be required to cultivate the soil once again, yet through correct preparation, growth is assured. So it's kind of, again, it all ties into it. So if you're like me, where you're having to really put the needs of others before yours at the moment, okay? And it's not that, your needs aren't important at the time or at this time. It is, right? We're all important as individuals. We have a place here on this planet. We have a right, as well as we have a job to do, though, right? My job has always been to serve others. Every career I've had was always in service to others. I've always, even when I was younger, I volunteered a lot at the hospital with it, like palliative care, which is basically your last step before death, right? Like for many people, right? So I interacted with a lot of people who were really ill, and it was sad because one moment you're feeding them, or you're spending time with them, talking to them, chatting with them, and then within a couple hours to even the next day, you go in again and they're gone. Okay, so for me, I've always been in that mindset that I need to help, right? I was put here for a reason. And like many of you out there, you could be light workers or starseeds, and this is your time, right? You are being asked to help, to serve. I'm not saying that you need to feed into the negativity around you. Absolutely not. But if you can be a beacon of light for someone, shine some hope, make someone smile. I mean, I work at the grocery store. I'm order picking. And the amount of seniors that I see, or elderly people that I see who need help, it's ridiculous. It baffles me that there's nobody out there, no family to help them, that they've got to come and risk their own life to come and get, some food at a grocery store. So if I stop what I'm doing and I tend to help them first and then continue on my way. Granted, what I'm doing is timed, but you know what? It doesn't even matter, because the people that are generally coming to pick up groceries are younger, may have families, whatever, young children. But for me, it's more important to serve someone who, like the elderly right now, they're the most at risk for me. Like that's what I'm kind of seeing, right, generally. So again, that's what I'm kind of sensing for you. Your action right now is to serve, okay? You're being called to serve. And whatever, again, it could be something completely different for all of us, right? Maybe your action is to serve from home, whatever it is that, for you. Maybe you're asked to help make supplies or send supplies out, or, I know a lot of people or a lot of corporations or companies have been asking for truck drivers. If you've got a truck driving license, get out there, helps, if you can. There are jobs where you can work independently. You don't have to work side by side with people, if that is the fear right now, okay? So do keep that in mind. All right. Enough of that. Let's get into fire. So we're going to be doing a fire next. So the last rune spread I did for fire, I believe the first card out was, the first rune that I kind of got out was, for your overview, was disruption. Your challenge was breakthrough, and your course of action was warrior in the reverse. Okay, so let's see what you get for this week. Okay, ancestors, please help connect with the collective of fire elements for this weekend's rune spread from March 27th to the 29th. Ooh, So that is, your overview is stand still. Okay. Let's see what that. Okay, so stand still, withdraw, or ice. The winter of the spiritual life is upon you. You may find yourself entangled in a situation to whose implications you are, in fact, blind. You may feel powerless to do anything except submit, surrender, even sacrifice some long-cherished desire. Be patient, for this is a period of gestation and precedes a rebirth. Positive accomplishment is unlikely now. There is a freeze on useful activity. All your plans are on hold. You may be experiencing an unaccustomed drain on your energy and wonder why. A chill wind is reaching you over the ice floes of old, outmoded habits. Trying to hold on can result in shallowness of feeling, a sense of being out of touch with life. Seek to discover what it is you are holding onto that perpetuates this condition and let go. Shed, release, cleanse away the old. Doing so will bring on the thaw. Usually, Isa requires a sacrifice of the personal, the I. At such a time, you cannot hope to rely on help or friendly support, and yet there is no reason for anxiety. Submit and be still, for what you are experiencing is not necessarily the result of your actions or habits, but rather arises from the conditions about which you can do nothing. What has been full must empty, and what has increased must decrease. This is the way of the heaven and earth. To surrender is to display courage and wisdom, and yet there is another face to stand still. Just as winter is a time for going within, drying Isa can announce a time of restoration and renewal at the deepest level. In your solitude, exercise caution, and do not stubbornly persist in attempting to work your will. Remain mindful that the seed of the new is present in the shell of the old, and the seed of unrealized potential, the seed of the good. Trust your own process and watch for signs of spring. Again, this is completely, for me personally, again, like I can see this being something not only fire is connecting with, but other, like a lot of us, okay? You may be one of those people who are having to self-isolate, okay? Or being, again, asked to social distance. We are all being asked to social distance, okay? But I feel like for fire, the majority of you are having to work from home. And that may be difficult, okay? You may be very active. I honestly think a lot of fire signs are quite active out there in their community. Their jobs that you have, you know, right now you may be laid off, or you're at home and you're driving you crazy, bananas, whatever. I mean, it's a struggle even for me to stay home. I've been home for 2 days. I've had the last 2 days off to kind of relax, unwind, before getting right back into working from Wednesday until Saturday again nonstop. And I'll probably work Sunday as well. We'll see how that goes. Usually it's been like 6 days on, 2 days off, like that's basically what I've kind of been dealing with. But for you, maybe you're being asked to stay home, and again, it's driving you crazy. So really, it's a challenge, not just an overview for you, I feel, fire. But again, let's try to turn that into a positive, like find things to do, reorganize your house, get into meditation, healthier, habits. Like if you're seeing that, there's really nothing that you can do aside from doing what you're being asked to do at this time, which is stay home. Okay. Again, just don't feed into the negativity and stay positive, right? All right, let's see what your challenge for this weekend is, fire. What is the challenge for fire for the weekend of March 27th to the 29th? Woo. All right. So your challenge is partnership. Before I even read this, are you stuck at home with the hubby or the boyfriend or the girlfriend? I think that's, that's when you really start to see, like, because this isn't a vacation, right? Like, we're stuck at home. It's not a vacation. Let's see here. All right, so Gebo, or partnership. All right. So drawing this rune is an indication that partnership in some form is at hand. In love relationships and business matters and partnering of every kind, you are put on notice not to collapse yourself into that union. Okay, for a true partnership is achieved only by separate and whole beings who retain their separateness even as they unite. Okay, remember to let the winds of heaven dance between you. At the same time, there is another aspect of partnership that you are being called to consider. For the path of partnership can lead you to the realization of a still greater union of the higher self, union with the divine. The ultimate gift of this rune is the realization of the divine in all things. God always enters into equal partnerships. Gebo, the rune of partnership, has no reverse, for it signifies the gift of freedom from which flow all other gifts. Okay? So, partnership, if you're not in partnership, okay, and you are single, what it's really asking you to do is to get to know yourself. Take this opportunity, okay, that you're being given right now. That challenge of, being home, staying home, having to be home, right? And maybe, again, some of you are separated from your loved ones, okay? That's a huge challenge, but take it in stride, right? Start to really connect with your higher self, with the divine, okay? Through meditation, through prayer if you need to, okay? For some of you, it's just taking quiet time to really, like, unwind, right? Do something that makes you happy, okay? Like, love. That's what's gonna really get you out of this mindset, right? Out of that negative mindset. Like, if that means for you, like, meditation can be all forms of whatever it is that makes you happy, right? It doesn't have to be just, sitting in a room in quiet contemplation. For some of you, it's journaling. For some of you, it's dancing, right? For some of you, it's singing. Whatever it is that connects you with your gifts and your abilities with, the divine. All right, so let's check out what the action is for fire for the weekend of March 27th to the 29th. And that was your overview. Woo. From the last 2 weeks. That was your overview, I believe. All right, let's see here. Disruption. Okay, so let's see here. So disruption, elemental power, hail. Hagalaz, okay? Change, freedom, invention, and liberation are all attributes of this rune. Drawing it indicates a pressing need within the psyche to break free from constricting identification with material reality and to experience the world of archetypal mind, The rune of elemental disruption of events that seem to be totally beyond your control. Hagalaz has only an upright position, and yet it always operates through reversal. When you draw this rune, expect disruption, for it is a great awakener, although the form the awakening takes may vary. Perhaps you will experience a gradual feeling of coming to your senses, as though you are emerging from a deep sleep. Then again, the onset of power may be such as to rip away the fabric of what you previously knew as your reality, your security, your understanding of yourself, your work, your relationships, or beliefs. Disruption takes many forms. A relationship fails, plans go awry, a source of supply dries up. But do not be dismayed. Whether you created the disruption or whether it comes from an outside source, you are not without power in this situation. Your inner strength, the will you have funded until now in your life, provides support and guidance at this time, when everything you've taken for granted is being challenged. Another of the cycle runes, the term radical discontinuity, best describes the action of Hagalaz at its most forceful. The more severe the disruption in your life, the more significant and timely the requirements for your growth. The universe and your own soul are demanding that you do indeed grow. Okay, so that's a really powerful statement for you guys. And I feel that I kind of touched upon that with the right after we talked about your last rune, right? With your challenge there. So again, for your course of action, it's really just making the best of the situation right now, okay? You can't control what's going on around you, but you can control what you're doing to make, to make a change there. Okay, so if you're being asked to stay home, stay home. But don't stay home and just watch TV and do absolutely nothing and eat snacks and then just complain about, like on social media, how you have nothing to do. No, that's not what you're being asked to do, like right now, right? It's like you're being put in a timeout, okay? It's time to focus and to really kind of get to know yourself, right? So take advantage of that. Take advantage of the time that you have. Maybe it's time to get your house in order. Do some spring cleaning, whatever it is that you need to do. Kind of make sense of things in the world again, right? And don't let this break you. All right, moving on to water. All right, so before we get into it, I believe, yeah. Okay, so for the last rune spread that I did, so for your overview water, you had separation for your overview. Your challenge, I believe, was constraint. And then your action was possessions in the reverse. Okay, so let's see what you have this week. I'm going to connect with a collective of water for the weekend rune spread on March 27th to 29th. All right. Who had this? Did I already do this one? I did. For Earth. Earth's overview. Okay, so I kind of don't want to go over that again. So I'll just kind of briefly go over it quickly. So it would be defense is your overview. Okay, I kind of had that already, that chat. So go back and watch the Earth overview if you want me to kind of read over that whole blurb again. But basically, the gist of it is you're probably, and again, for some of you, you could be working as well. So this, COVID-19 challenge that we're all dealing with right now, it may be something that you're having to, it may be an obstacle right now in your path, right? Maybe you had some plans and it's kind of messing with your plans, right? But you're dealing with it, water. You're persevering. You're pushing through. I feel like some of you are, again, like I said, having to work through it. I myself am dealing with that, And again, don't let people take advantage of that, okay? Just do get your rest. Make sure you are eating and sleeping and, you know, dealing with it properly. Do not become overworked, okay? You are more likely to have, you know, get sick or to, you know, have a breakdown too. That's the other thing, is that people, this is going to have a mental strain on people for sure. Okay, so really just stay positive and don't allow negativity to affect you right now. Okay, if you need to get off social media, do that, right? If you need to not watch the news for a bit, do that. Just be safe, right? Just do what you need to do. Make sure you're hand washing, okay? You're disinfecting things, okay? I know I myself, I have had to take my child to my in-laws and have them watch her while me and my husband work, right? That's just the reality of things right now. If you're in the service to others, then that's what you're doing. Some of you could be doctors or nurses or grocery workers or truck drivers, whatever it is that you do for a living. Know that right now you're doing it yes, you're doing it for you, but you're doing it for the whole of humanity right now. And I commend you for that. Like, it's not for everyone. Okay. So that's kind of what you're dealing with for your overview. Water. All right. Let's see what the challenge is for water for the weekend of the 27th or March 27th to the 29th. All right. Ooh, well done. So we have gateway in the reverse. Okay, so gateway, place of non-action, the god Thor. But it's in the reverse. I believe that would be the upright, so this is the reverse. All right, so reverse. A quickening of your development is indicated here. Yet even in times of accelerated growth, you will have reason to halt along the way to reconsider the old and integrate the new. Take advantage of these halts. If you are undergoing difficulties, remember, the nature of your passage depends upon the quality of your attitude, the clarity of your intention, and the steadfast of your will. Be certain that you are not suffering over your own suffering. Drawing this rune reverse demands contemplation on your part. Hasty decisions at this time may cause regrets, for the probability is that you will act from weakness, deceive yourself about your motives, and create new problems more severe than those you are attempting to resolve. Impulses must be tempered by thought for correct procedure. Do not attempt to go beyond where you haven't yet begun. Be still, collect yourself, and wait on the will of heaven. All right, so that is your challenge, water. Okay, again, I honestly feel like many of you, just like Earth, are having to get out there and work, right? When everybody else is kind of being asked to stay home. That isn't to say that some of you are not home. You're still working, possibly from home. Again, many of you are single mothers and having, or just stay-at-home moms and having to, provide. Now you're the teacher and having to provide education for your children, okay? And for some of you, that could be a challenge. The day-to-day is a challenge, all right? Having to, it's meal time, meal preps, and keeping them busy and not just like in front of the TV. But at the same time, it's okay. Like, we're also human. We need time to ourselves. You cannot be like, kids are in school for 8 hours a day? They're not in school for 24 hours. So do keep that in mind, right? Things, again, need to run smoothly. You need to, in order to be in that right state of mind, you need to think positively, right? So at the end of the day, don't stress yourselves out. Okay? All right, let's see what your course of action is going to be. Sorry, I just had to close the door. All right, so what is the course of action for water for the weekend of the 27th, March 27th through the 29th? Who had this? Anybody have this? Nobody had this yet. Okay, so this is a warrior in the reverse. All right, let's see what. So, warrior in the reverse. Reversed. The danger is that through hasty or ill-timed action, like life force leaks out or is spilled away. If an association is short-lived, do not grieve. Know that it has fulfilled its span. Matters of trust and confidence are an issue here, and with them, the authenticity of your way of being in the world. Reverse Thewas calls for examining your motives carefully. Is it self-conquest with which you are concerned, or are you trying to dominate another? Are you lusting after outcomes, or are you focused on the task for its own sake? You will find the answers within yourself, not in outside advice. When you consult the runes, you are consulting the self, an action appropriate to the spiritual warrior. So there you go, water. I think spending time quiet. So yeah, spending some time in contemplation or doing quiet activities even, or just activities for yourself. Like, don't forget, like, yes, okay, we're stuck at home and we're asking to practice self or social distancing, and we're self-isolating. But don't forget to, do things that cheer you up, to keep you happy, right? Or just even self-care, right? So, I mean, if you want to, do your nails at home. You don't need to go to a salon. You can just start doing them at home, okay? Again, and if that's whatever it is that, you need to do to keep yourself positive, okay? I know some people have started keeping a journal, or some people are reorganizing or doing some spring cleaning at home, right? I mean, spring started and we can't get out there, but I mean, yes, stay home, don't go out, but who's to say that you can't, like, if you have a backyard or you have a balcony, get outside, okay? If you have, I know I have leftover seeds and stuff, so I'm going to start sprouting some plants. My plan was to actually buy plants this year and not sprout them myself, but given the fact that, garden centers may not be open this year, I'm going to have to start sprouting, I guess. I have no choice in the matter. So that is, that's my way of kind of dealing with the situation. All right, so let's get to the element of air. Okay, so 2 weeks ago, air, you got, for your overview, you had defense. For your challenge, you had initiation, and for your action, it was standstill. So let's see what we have for your overview for air, the element of air, for the weekend of March 27th to the 29th. All right, so we have there's opening in the reverse. All right, so, there we go, in the reverse. So, expect a darkening of the light in some situation or relationship. A friendship may be dying, a partnership, a marriage, or some aspect of yourself that is no longer appropriate to the person you are now becoming. Reverse, this rune points to the death of a way of being that is no longer valid and puts you on notice that failure to face up consciously to that death would constitute a loss of opportunity. reversed, calls for giving up gladly the old and being prepared to live for a time empty. It calls for developing inner stability and carries the warning not to be seduced by the momentum of old ways while waiting for the new to become illuminated in their proper time. Again, I noticed like these are very similar messages, but I do feel that it is, given what's going on in the world right now, I do feel like we can all benefit from all of these rune readings. I'm seeing at least a connection here. So for your overview, again, for some of you, you're having to give up on some of the things that you used to do. Or again, if it's a relationship, then it could be relationships of all kinds. It doesn't have to be a partnership, like a romantic partnership or any of that. It could even just be with with yourself and who you used to be. Okay, maybe again, having to spend time at home. For some of you, this could be a learning experience and something that you're going to revel in and really adapt and learn a lot about yourself. For others of you, this is hard because you could be extroverts, right, and not introverts. And I mean, it's having to find, like, what is this like? For some of you, this could be week 3 going on or week 2 going on, depending on where you live around the world, right? You could have been doing this now for like a month, right? So it can be, not only is this your overview, this can be a challenge for many people, right? So again, it's that positive mind space. All right, let's see what your challenge is, air. What's the challenge for the element of air for the weekend of March 27th to the 29th? This is the same challenge that you had 2 weeks ago. Same challenge. Initiation. Okay, so that tells me we're still dealing with the same issues. Clearly. Okay. All right, so this is Perth. Something hidden, a secret matter. Okay, heretic or mystery rune, pointing to which is beyond our frail manipulative powers. Perth is on the side of heaven, the unknowable, and has associations with the phoenix, the mystical bird which consumes itself in the fire and then rises from its own ashes. Its ways are secret and hidden. Powerful forces of change are at work here, yet what is achieved is not easily or readily shared. After all, becoming whole, the means of it, is a profound secret. On the side of the earthly or mundane, there may be surprises, gains, or rewards that you did not anticipate. On the side of human nature, the rune is symbolized by the flight of the eagle, soaring flight free from entanglement, lifting yourself above the endless even flow of ordinary life to acquire a broader vision. All this is indicated here. Another of the cycle runes, Perth, stands at the heart of initiation. Nothing external matters here, except as it shows you its inner reflection. This rune is concerned with the deepest stratum of your being, the bedrock of which your destiny is founded. For some, Perth means experiencing a death. In need be, let go of everything, no exceptions, no exclusions. Nothing less than renewal of your spirit is at stake when you draw this rune. Okay? So that, again, is your challenge. I feel like Earth kind of can, the two of you kind of maybe dealing with some similar things, even though it's not the same runes. Well, even fire, I feel. Okay. I think we're all kind of dealing with the same, like, very similar challenges, just playing out a little bit differently at different times, is what I'm kind of sensing. But at the same time, again, it's how you perceive things and your mindset, right? Staying in that positive mindset. And then for you, it could be, I mean, you're air, you're constantly thinking, right? You air signs are very logical, right? So you're trying to be able to adapt in a logical way. And that may not be the, easy at this time, because what's going on in the world, from a logical standpoint, like, yes, you're doing what you need to do or what you're being asked to do, but there's a lot more to it than that. Okay. Staying home for some of you is proving difficult, and it could be causing people to have, get into that, like a spiral of the mind in a way, right? And get into negative mind space. So I think that is proving to be a challenge for many of you, or many of us in general. So it's really having to find things to keep you positive right now. Okay. So, hey, like, I know we're all worried about, like, I know some people are worried about their diets, and like, hey, if you're not working out or you're not able to go to the gym, then you should be trying to find a way to adapt to that at home, right? So it's really, it's like, try to continue and do the things that you can do from home. It's, again, that's a challenge. So let's see what we have for your course of action. What can we do, air? What's the course of action for the element of air from March 27th to the 29th? All right. I'm pretty sure we've had this for earth and water. Okay, so, but in different, so we've had this rune, okay, which is defense, come up in your overview, a challenge, and now as your action. Okay. I didn't read it out for, I want to say it was water, but I did read it out for the earth. I think I might just kind of briefly kind of go over it for you guys. Okay. Again, if you want, go back and listen to the first part of earth. Okay. Because I did read out the whole page. For you guys, again, I'm just going to briefly kind of go over what it is. So defense. Okay. Avertive powers. So what this rune kind of talks about, and I mean, as your course of action, it just talks about, you may have, like, again, some obstacles in your path that you need to kind of, like, that are you need to consider. Okay. These are proving to be difficult for some of you. There's just delays to your plans. So whatever it is that if you've had plans, air, at some point, do expect delays in that regard. Don't be overeager to get into or to start, like, new projects, because, again, expect delays given what's going on in the world. There's a lot of things that maybe that you were taking on previously that you're kind of had to kind of slow down on. Okay. And this could be related to work. Maybe you have a full-time job that's now kind of tapered down a bit. If not, you're at work. Maybe you had some side jobs that you were kind of doing. Maybe those are the kind of jobs that are pushing you forward right now. So use that as your outlet. I know some people are using social media to kind of vent and get out whatever it is, and some people have been creative with it. Like, or they're not just getting on there and talking about their boredom, right? Like, no, some people are starting to, create TikTok videos, or, like, maybe they've restarted their YouTube channel, right? whatever it is for you, okay, whatever it's whatever keeps you sane right now, okay, is what I'm saying. Again, for some of you, if you have your own home business, or you've been doing that, you know, for a while, a little side thing that you've been doing, you're still pushing forward, okay? You're still able to do this, but now it's like maybe having to find ways to support others, okay? And maybe that's what's going to keep you motivated, okay, and get you out of this and get out of your whole challenge, is to really give back and help others, okay? I know for me personally, I have no choice. I went from a part-time to a full-time job, okay, because I am in service to others, right? That's kind of what I do. I work at a grocery store. It is an essential service. In particular, I work for, it's like a grocery pickup and delivery service. So I am coming in contact with people who have been in self-isolation, people who have been quarantined, not personally, like I do keep my distance. We do ask that family members come to pick up the groceries. But again, I'm doing what I need to do to help humanity. That's just who I've always been. So again, maybe you're kind of doing something similar, right? Continue to do what you do. I honestly don't see anything wrong with helping people. In fact, there's a shortage. I know even at my work, they're asking for volunteers, okay? Because a lot of people have made the decision, and it's within their own right. I mean, you have the right to stay home if you feel that you're not safe, right? So just continue to do what you need to do. All right, so that has been your weekend elements rune spread. Please do give a like, like my video if you like it, if it resonates with you. If not, it's okay. Not every message is going to resonate with you. Do check out the other elements. Keep in mind, right? You're not just your sun sign. So if you're, let's say, Taurus, right? You're not just an earth. You have a moon, you have a rising, okay? So keep that in mind. We're made up of more than one element. So things are going to kind of mesh and kind of, as you can tell through this whole reading, I've made connections to everyone. So do listen to everything, okay? Do let me know below, comments, okay? Whether or not I should keep doing this elements, or if I should switch to a zodiac rune spread. I can do that. It would only be one rune though for each zodiac sign, so do keep that in mind. But yeah, let me know below, okay? Do share this video around and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so, okay? And yeah, do hit the notification bell. That way you're notified the next time I upload a video, okay? So do look forward to my monthlies. They are coming out as soon as I can get them out. Again, if they come out late, I do apologize, because I am dealing with having to go to work still, even more so now. So do keep that in mind, okay? And I will be doing the runes at the end of the tarot reading, just to kind of anchor and bring everything together, all right? So again, take care of yourselves. Please stay safe, and many blessings.